episode of Saturday Night Horror. Now tonight's selection may be kind of puzzling for those of you who watched last week's episode when I went on my rant about modern vampire movies. I do not like modern vampire movies at all. I went on a huge rant last week, so I won't do it again this week. But after watching The Lost Boys last week, it kind of reminded me that, there are good vampire movies out there, and it made me think of some of the vampire movies I actually enjoyed. And so I figured, I really want to watch one that I enjoyed this weekend. So that's what we're going to do. This weekend we're going to be watching Vampires. That's the name of the movie, Vampires. Now this came out in 1998. Stars James Woods and the goofy looking Baldwin brother. If you can get past the Baldwin brothers, you're fine. But yeah, we're going to be watching Vampires tonight. And I remember the first time I watched this movie was actually on Cinemax. It was when we first got Cinemax, I honestly couldn't believe it. We actually had a movie channel. And I remember it came on late at night one time. I was bored, so I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and watch it. How bad could it be? And I loved it. It was awesome. I loved it so much that in fact I waited for it to come on again, popped in a blank VHS, hit record, and had my own copy. Yeah, for those of us old enough to remember recording movies on VHS, yeah. But anyway, we're going to be watching Vampires tonight. It's a movie that I remember just really enjoying, and it's been quite a few years since the last time I've seen it, so I'm looking forward to watching that. In the kitchen, we're going to have perhaps the best frozen pizza I've ever had. I've said it on an earlier episode. We're going to be having a Wild Mike's frozen pizza. We're going to spice it up a little bit. And of course, our special drink. So, let's not waste any more time talking about it. Let's go out to the kitchen, let's prepare our pizza, and let's watch some Vampires. I'll see you out there.
Let's go out to the kitchen. Let's go out to the kitchen. Let's go out to the kitchen and have ourselves a snack.
Alright everyone, here's our Wild Mike's. Yeah, I sprinkled some Italian seasoning on it. Completely forgot to record it, so that's my fault. Yeah, we're going to stick this in, cook it. Should be good to go. Alright, here's the finished product. Smells awesome. It's going to taste great. That Italian seasoning all over the pizza. Like I said, Wild Mike's to me is the best frozen pizza I've ever had, bar none. There's nothing else even comes close. So now that we've got our pizza, now that we've got our food, we need to get a drink. So let's go in the garage, which I still haven't got out here and cleaned yet. One of these days, man. One of these days we'll be live from the garage. So let's go in here, let's get our drink, so we can start watching our movie. Oh my lord.
Never, never fun, there's always Coca-Cola, yeah. Coca-Cola, always Coca-Cola.
Alright, so we've got Cherry Coke this week. That'll be another bottle to add to the collection. I've decided that every time I have a different flavor of Coke or get a different looking bottle, I'm going to keep it. Start a little Coke bottle collection. So let's lock the door, turn the light off. We've got our food. We've got our ice cold Cherry Coke. We'll cut the pizza up, get a couple pieces of it, and we'll be good to go for our movie. Alright, we've got our food, got our drink. Let's turn off this last light in the house. There we go. All the lights in the house are off. It's time to watch Vampires. Been quite a few years since I've seen it, so definitely looking forward to watching it. And Bella has decided to join me tonight. This is her, what I call her TV watching position. She'll crawl up in my lap, but she's facing the TV, nice and comfortable. So yeah, Bella's gonna watch Vampires with me. Alright everyone, the movie is over, and it was as awesome and as fun as I remember it being. I really enjoyed it, and honestly, you can't go wrong watching Vampires. Like I said before, if you can get past the fact that the goofy Baldwin brothers in this movie, you'll be fine. Not a real big fan of the Baldwin brothers. But yeah, vampires. This movie is kind of does some things different with vampires, but the things that it does different are really good and it really works. And we'll talk about that a little bit coming up. First thing about this movie is right away, as soon as it starts, you're going to see some action. We get to see a group of professional vampire hunters hired by the church. Yes, hired by the church. They find a nest of vampires and they immediately get to work clearing it out. These guys are not amateurs. They're not a bunch of weekend warriors. This is a professional team of vampire hunters. This is what they do for a living. They've got the equipment. They've got the vehicles. They're prepared. They have the body armor coordinated. This is what they do for a living. So yeah, and right off the bat, you see what they do to clear out these vampire nests, and some of the things they do are pretty cool, man. They have, we are going to spoil one thing for the movie here. One of the methods they use to clean out these vampire nests is they have a crossbow, and the bolt is connected to a wire, which is connected to a winch on one of their vehicles, so they shoot the vampire in the chest with the crossbow. Once the bolt sticks in, that cord that's attached to the bolt into the winch, they activate the winch on the vehicle and it drags the vampire out of the nest into the sunlight where it burns up and dies. So I thought that was pretty cool. Never saw that in a vampire movie before, haven't seen it in a vampire movie since, so I really like that, man. And of course the classic methods of killing vampires are here: sunlight, stake through the heart. Thankfully nothing is said about garlic, which I've never been a fan of using garlic to ward off vampires. That just seems goofy to me. So yeah, right off the bat, plenty of action. You see kind of the different methods they use for clearing out the nest, so I thought that was pretty cool. The movie takes place in Mexico, out in the desert for the most part, and it really works. Something about the setting here in Mexico just really works for this movie. It adds a lot to it. I can't explain why or how, but it does. It's just it's like the perfect backdrop, especially at night, where you see nothing but desert and maybe one or two little isolated towns, and vampires are all around. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. At the beginning of this movie, as I said, the vampire hunters are clearing out the nest. They're looking for someone they call the Master, who is, the lead vampire of the nest. Let's just say that them clearing out this nest grabs the attention of the Master, and the hunters become the hunted for a little while. And then they go back to hunting the Master, because once they find this Master, it turns out that this vampire master is not like all the rest. And I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say he's a very important part of the vampire world, we'll say. That's all I can say without spoiling it. So this guy, this new vampire master that they find, is more important than you realize at first. Once you find out his true identity, who he was, who he is, it's like, oh man. Then he has a master plan for all the vampires. Basically, he wants to grab some artifact and complete a ritual that will allow vampires to walk during the day as well. So, like I said, when they clear out this nest, it gets the Master's attention, the hunters become the hunted, and then once they find out his plan, they go on the hunt once again. So it's pretty cool to see how everything plays out. And then you also have kind of a twist in the movie as well. You find out that the Master is not working alone, and I won't spoil any of that for you. That's all I'm going to say. But I thought it was pretty cool once you find out who this vampire master really is, what's going on, and then the twist that he's really not alone. So yeah, Vampires is just a fun movie. Like I said, they do a few things differently with vampires that actually work. They don't have the garlic warding off the vampire. I always thought that was corny. Garlic scares off vampires and keeps them away. I always thought that was really corny. One thing they did take away, though, usually in vampire movies, you have to invite the vampire, actually invite them into your house or into the building you're in before they can come in. They completely ignored that in this movie, and it actually worked. We have an awesome scene after they clear out the nest where the Master does not need to be invited in the room and all hell breaks loose. Man, this is just a fun movie. This is one of the better vampire movies. Probably my favorite vampire movie, other than Interview with the Vampire. So yeah, Vampires is very high on my list of horror movies that I really enjoy. Like I said, you get past the fact that the Baldwin brother is in it, the goofy one, you're fine. So really, can't really say too much else about it. It was just a fun movie. It's an awesome movie, and if you have not seen it yet, definitely check it out. There is a sequel, Vampires Los Muertos. I've seen it one time, and I do not remember a single thing about it. The way this movie ends, it kind of sets up for a potential sequel, and I can't remember if the sequel actually continues the story of this movie or if it goes in a completely different direction. I don't know. We'll have to watch it, won't we? So I think that's going to do it for this episode, everyone. Like I said, Vampires, really good movie, really fun movie. If you're tired of the pansy, crybaby, lovesick vampires we get now, go back, watch the 1998 version of Vampires, and you will love it. 1998, James Woods, that's the one you're looking for. So with that being said, hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Appreciate y'all watching. Definitely check out Vampires. I think it's worth your time. I think you'll enjoy it. And we'll see you next week, everyone. Have an awesome weekend. Have an awesome week. We'll see you next time on Saturday Night Horror. Appreciate y'all.